Thank you, Madam President and members of the body. I apologize you caught me off guard there, but I want to expand a little bit on something I said the other day, or earlier today I should say, because I think it's important to understand and important that we all hear this. I have a highway in Washington County, 91, that has been closed to semi-traffic. This is the link between Fremont and Blair. I think you've heard of these places. This highway can no longer accommodate semi-tractors because it is falling apart. Now think what that means. I mean, we're not supposedly living in a failed nation. We're not some third world country. And we cannot ship product on the highways that link our cities because we aren't fixing our roads. We simply aren't fixing them, to the point where we're losing the ability to travel between town and town and ship goods between city and city in Nebraska. And as I said earlier, people keep talking about this as some sort of choice, as everything is, between other competing funding needs. But if our schools were in the state that our roads are in, there would be protests in the rotunda, and there'd be drum circles out there, and there'd be torch-bearing mobs outside the Capitol saying something must be done. And we heard someone earlier say, well, we should think about this and find a way. Well, this may be a surprise to some, but some people have been thinking about this for several years as to how to address this problem. And we don't want tax increases, that much is certain, and probably not advisable. But we're being told we need to find a way to fix the roads. Well, yeah, we fix the roads by saying we're going to spend this money. And understand further, you can't wake up one morning and say, we're going to fix that road. It doesn't work that way, especially in our regulatory environment. The point in committing to these funds now in an out year is to allow us to start preparing for the roads we're actually going to build. Every time we delay a project, I know this from Highway 133 between Omaha and Blair, again, a heavily traveled road where my constituents, a few of them, die every year. They're not inconvenienced, they don't find it bumpy, some of them just die because this is the most hazardous road at night with the curves and the deer and the narrowness. It's terrifying. And we just, well, if you're going to die every year, I guess that's the life, but we can't just keep putting things off. Every time we delay 133, the Corps of Engineers has to come back and the EPA has to come back and do another reassessment because something may have happened between the last time they reassessed and this time they reassessed, and on and on and on. This isn't something you can do just by flipping a switch and say, tomorrow let's build roads. We have to be able to plan. So while on the one hand, you say, well, you're kicking the can down the road 2 years. No, we're actually giving people a heads up. This is when we're going to start honoring our commitments. This is when we're going to start building the roads. And no one is coming here because we like to slight any other program. We're coming here and saying we have slighted roads to the point where we are failing in one of our fundamental responsibilities as a society. We've heard maybe we should have built light rail or something. What a different world we'd be in. Yes, we'd have empty trains running back and forth between the cities like we have empty buses running around Omaha. Thank you, Mr. President. It'd be a different world. We'd have something more expensive and more empty out there. People drive on the roads. Trucks drive on the roads. One of our primary, fundamental, most basic obligations is to maintain the roads in a society, and we're not even doing that anymore. And it's only going to get worse. And to say we should wait and maybe think a little harder and maybe just find a way, those aren't plans. This bill, while not perfect, is a plan, and a plan that I wholeheartedly support because we actually have to do something, not talk about potentially doing something. And if not now, when? Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Lautenbach. Mr. Clerk, items for the record?
I do, Madam President. Senators Hansen, Glore, Kristen Wallman would like to add their name to LB 600 as co-introducers. And I have a priority motion. Senator Koash would move to recess the body until 1:30 p.m.
The motion before you is to recess until 1:30 this afternoon. All in favor say aye. Opposed? We are recessed.